Welcome to Above the Garage.
Hi, friends. Today we have the presumed innocent makeup department head, Donald Mowat, on to chat with us about his experiences on this incredible show and many others. Take a look at his IMDb page and you'll realize he's the makeup genius behind the curtain on so many of your favorite movies, including Dune, Prisoners, Blade Runner 2049, Skyfall, 8 Mile, Planet of the Apes, and the list just basically never ends. His incredible filmography speaks for itself, but the man himself is even better. So without further ado... Hello.
Hi, I'm Donald.
Very nice to meet you. I'm Kate.
Hi, I'm Helen. Hi, I'm Kimberly.
And where is everybody in Perth?
I'm from Perth, Australia. Kate's from Philly, so closer to you. And Helen is from Cologne in Germany.
Okay.
So we're worldly.
International.
Yes.
Where are you?
I'm in LA. I know Cologne, Germany. I don't know Perth. You know, my auntie lives in Perth.
Oh, does she?
Oh.
Yeah, my father's younger sister. How about that?
Maybe I know her. It's a small world over here.
Well, she's called Joyce. Well, she's not Mowat. Well, they say Mowat, but she's called, I don't think she uses her maiden. She uses a married name called Holston. Hulston. But that's my auntie. That's my father's sister.
Oh, well, I'll have to say hi to her if I ever bump into her. Yeah.
How about that? Yeah, everybody knows each other in Perth.
You have to be on the lookout.
I've been in Philly quite a bit. I used to go there. I made a few movies in Philly. I loved it.
Yeah, it's really become much nicer. I mean, I wasn't here. I've only been here for the past 10 years, but I've heard that it's become very nice since before then, and I love it now. It's a great city.
It's hot in the summer.
Hot, you said? Yeah.
Yeah.
It has been brutal this summer. This summer, like usually there's a solid like week, maybe two of like extreme heat, and this summer it's just been the whole summer, and it's a lot to deal with.
Well, it's hot here in LA.
Yeah.
It's 9:45 in the morning, and it's very hot, and here we are. So, okay, so nice to meet everybody.
Thank you for joining us.
Nice to meet you too.
Are you all together on this? Like, do you do this together, this thing on Instagram?
Yeah, so I'm the one talking to you on Instagram usually. And then, Kate's our lovely podcast host, and Helen always speaks on our episodes. So, yes.
Okay, now I get it.
So I read that you were based in Toronto, but are you based in LA now, or?
That's funny. Somebody would, oh, you know what? It's maybe on an old website. I'm from Canada originally.
Yeah.
I'm from Montreal.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I saw you worked on Anne of Green Gables early in your career, and it's like my mom's favorite show ever. So I remember it nostalgically from my childhood watching it with my mom.
You know, you're not the first. A lot of, especially women, younger women, tell me that because that was 1980. Yeah, that's hugely popular.
Mm.
I really love that because I was reminiscing with all the old timers like me, but a lot of actors that I still know will say, oh my God, that was the thing. And that was a long time ago. I was just a kid, really. And I went on the first one, the first Anne that we just called Anne of Green Gables. And then the second one, which some people call it on IMDb, they call it not what I knew it.
Anne of Babylon, maybe?
Yeah, but it wasn't. We called it Anne of Green Gables, the sequel.
Yeah, that's how I think of it in my head.
Right? She goes away to teachers college.
Mm-hmm.
The reason it's come up a lot recently is a lot of the actors have passed on. And she's still around, obviously, she's my age. Megan follows. But a lot of people have been talking about it because it's kind of classic TV from that time. It's where a lot of us trained. And a lot of great people came out of that. So
it was like a limited series before there were really limited series.
Yeah, it's sort of nostalgic for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I hadn't done TV for many, many years until this came up. But yeah, I come from Canada, so people think of that. So, but I've been in LA since the 90s, early 90s.
Makes sense for your profession.
We were going to ask, but you haven't been there for a while. Do you know Burton LeBlanc?
He's a makeup artist out of Toronto.
Yes, I do. Burton lives in Toronto. Yeah.
We got to interview him for The Handmaid's Tale. He's such an awesome dude.
We love him. Yeah.
Yeah, because he came to LA for something. And funnily enough, where I live, right here, it's a hotel, right? I can see it from here. He was staying there and I was driving someone and I saw him and I'd met him once before and I saw him and I ended up taking him for lunch because he didn't really know LA. And
oh, that's so nice.
he's a very nice guy. He's doing really well. He's really up and coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like Elizabeth Moss takes him to all of her projects now, which is fun. He can just focus on her.
So that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been in the movie world, so it's really different in the world of makeup and makeup design.
Yeah.
It's very definitively different. You do TV or movies.
Yeah.
So coming into TV is different for me because I started in it and then I didn't do it for years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back to it about 4 years ago for Marvel, maybe 3 years ago for Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And that was
Cool.
the first movie I'd done in 20, 25 years.
Wow.
Mhm.
I feel like that's sort of true. In fact, Jake Gyllenhaal, right? He pretty specifically only did movies, right? Until this.
Never did TV before.
Yeah. So same, like you seem like you're a movie person or a TV person, and now I guess TV is becoming more popular, it seems.
Well, I mean, movies, I don't want to say movies are dead, but movies are kind of dead. And there is a lot of that. And so a lot of us, Jake, when he called me about this, I was doing Dune, one of the Dunes.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. But I love the first one. That was for me the only one. But he called me and he said, would you ever do? And I'm like, yeah, I would. I'm not a snob. I'm really not. I love Moon Knight. I had a great time on that. And Marvel, because I didn't know Marvel apart from working with Jake on Spider-Man. And so I thought, you know what? I'm game. It's in LA. That's rare because sadly, a lot of things don't shoot in LA anymore, which I'm very disappointed about.
Yeah.
And so, you know what? As soon as I heard Ruth Negga and all these people,
Yeah.
and Peter Sarsgaard, I was kind of hooked. So I had a production meeting with Anne Sawitsky, who was, I think, our first director, and then Greg. And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I went to meet our producer, Carolyn James, and our other producer, production manager, Stacy, over at Warner Brothers, The Ranch. It was kind of exciting because you got to understand, for me to be back at Warner Brothers, I was there when I first came to LA from Canada with Mark Wahlberg doing The Perfect Storm in the 90s.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Way back. So
Yeah.
for me, it was kind of like old home week. I drove over from West Hollywood. It's not that far. I drove over and I went to the ranch, and that's where the office was. And everything for Presumed Innocent was there. And they're the two nicest ladies, Presumed Innocent, that were running, like having it all set up. And they basically said to me, will you basically set up our whole hair makeup? And I said, the one thing I just want to do is I got to do it my way, because I got to do it my way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And basically the showrunners and, everybody from Bad Robot and David E. Kelly and J.J. Abrams, everybody said, like, whatever you want to do, because it was different for me. But coming off movies in Europe where I kind of can run prosthetics and makeup and hair,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to have a really representational crew.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't see that very much. And I did. So we were the most representational, meaning we were in hair makeup at the Warner Brothers. There we were on the ranch, where we were everything. We were, male, female, LGBTQ plus,
Yeah.
diverse,
Awesome.
Asian American, people of color.
That's amazing.
And it was very good because it wasn't mandated.
Yeah.
It's just how
Yeah.
I work.
Right.
And we were really the only part of the crew, as it often is. But I'm very happy about that. And then we started, and it was just great. It was just a great group. And you don't see that a lot, I'm afraid, anymore in TV or in movies, especially in studio environments. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you're in Toronto or Sydney or Perth, Atlanta. You don't see that. I really mean it. In all these years I've been working, usually it's like working in a factory.
Yeah.
Right.
And you hear it, I'm sure, well, no, people don't really tell the truth. I do.
I love that.
You go and go, oh, it's the best. But it was. We had a great, on our crew, our trailer, and between Anne and Greg and the producers, and then our cast. And it was new for Jake. So there were a lot of learning curves for people.
Yeah.
I mean, TV.
The cast at large is just phenomenal. Like, it's just stacked. It's an amazing cast. I would have come on for that. But it's so great that they let you build the entire team so that you could be this excellence. It's like everything just looks perfect.
Thanks.
Yeah. That was one thing I wanted to ask was, so obviously they let you do your thing, which was amazing. Do they, when you collaborate with the showrunners or people in movies, do they often give you specifics of what they want, or do they let you take the full reign?
Set the tone.
Yeah.
I think with this group, they were really great because I think they knew that I've done this for a very long time. And I think that after a while, you just kind of feel like, why can't I just do what I do and let everybody do what they do?
Yeah.
And I will say this, I'm sure, I don't know how Burton feels. He's been doing that show for a long time. I think a lot of people don't stay in their lanes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a business, but particularly in what I do, I think you see it in costume, makeup, hair more than other areas. But I have noticed this, and it's really been annoying me the last couple of years, where I think people feel they're able to question or give notes. Of course, you have to take the note because it's your job.
Yeah.
But these guys were great because they could come and say, hey, we think, or, for Ruth, or, but I think they were also very respectful that I've done this a really long time.
Yeah.
Right.
But you would be surprised how many people actually don't give you the freedom, or a lot of jobs don't, which is why so many people lose interest and go, why bother? You're just a technician. Or
Right. Yeah.
but that's in any job, I think, where people tell you that, people who teach school or nurses or doctors that go, well, I'm only allowed 15 minutes per patient, and they lose interest.
Yeah.
Right. Because they can't do their job.
Yeah. And I think for us, it's, we have to rush, and we do. It's part of the job. But I really like that with my team, that we could say, hey, you know what, it is what it is, but you can still try, and within the confines of that. And so I felt like I had some freedom more than I usually. Yeah.
Well, sounds like that's unfortunately rare, but that's amazing, and it showed. I mean, I really liked just like the details, like Bill Camp looking increasingly unwell. I don't know how you pull it off exactly, but you can just tell like he's not doing well.
Yeah.
And same with Jake. Like he starts out the first episode or Rusty starts off the first episode all American, good guy, obviously, like, everybody loves him, and then slowly like losing it physically too, but you can't like notice any of those details. I know you do. How do you like assist in his unraveling?
Sometimes it's really the less is more. You just have to do it really quickly. Like with Bill,
Yeah.
what we decide with Bill, what you do is, you kind of take a guy, he's got such a great look and a great face, and he's so wonderful.
I love him.
You just track it. I mean, it's tracking it more than anything to match in the continuity. But you take a guy, if he's, put together and looking kind of smart and neat, and then all you have to do is mess him up a little. You askew the hair a little and sweat him up. One day unshaved, 2 days maybe, suddenly, because in courts of law, it was very hard to explain to people. Even today in America, there's still very strict rules for dress codes. So Chicago, especially Chicago, it's still old-fashioned town. Those guys are shaved. So suddenly you see a guy like that right before something happens to him in the courtroom.
Right.
He's not looking his best, right? He's sort of...
It's notable, yeah.
So you see his wife also starts to... Initially, she's all done, right? With the nails. You put those ridiculous nails on her, lashes, all the makeup. And then suddenly she kind of, because after that happens to him, of course, that's her husband.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with Rusty. He is all, looking great and handsome and hot, and, the body and the swimming. The next thing, he's like dark under the eyes because they're not. And you see him awake at night.
Yeah.
And she's awake.
Everybody's awake at night.
Exactly. And even the kids are suddenly getting.
Yeah.
So we did little things, but that's fun for me, and it's fun for the team, Molly and Ching and on makeup, and then Karen and Liz and Des and everybody in hair, because suddenly it's just little things that happen that you shouldn't really notice, but little things, and you do. And then I loved working with Renata. I mean, they don't like us talking a lot about it. One day I realized I have to be really careful, because I was looking at a photograph the other day. My internet went down the other day. I sort of broke it, vacuuming. The thing dropped, and there was a picture here. And I think the guy was like, thought, what kind of a freak is this? I was pulling out all these because they were asking me to go through some pictures of the show. And there's a wonderful picture of Ruth here. I love it so much.
She's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful.
But there was another one. I think I put it away for good. And it was a picture of Renata,
Night of the incident,
of our mistress. And I think I've taken it away. I quickly erased and I put that picture away, because I think the guy was like, it's super creepy.
Yeah.
And the thing of Bill, the thing I'm talking about that has a little explosion.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to ask you about.
Okay, well, that's sitting here. Poor guy. And that's when I realized, because I went back home this summer to go see my mom, and I was telling a friend of mine about, I wanted to show him to get his approval, because I always show it to like the sheriff's coroner
Oh,
who worked with me, who's wonderful.
Oh, that's awesome.
And she checked everything for me, the markings and the bruising.
Wow.
My friend, who's a medical doctor and also, teaches medicine at a very well-known, noted university, he sort of stopped me and he reminded me, he goes, like that freaks people. And I went, it's really triggering. So even the other day I went, it is triggering. And that's why the studio don't issue those photographs, right?
Mhm.
Ever. And this goes for me way back to the movie Prisoners I did with the makeup on Paul Dano and even like beat up things. People will not show those and I understand it for a lot of reasons.
yeah.
But it's your work that's like, yeah.
But I think the guy saw some stuff here and, I've got the head there, but people must go like walking into Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment.
Right, exactly. Actually, we interviewed Zane Nicely, who does prosthetics for Handmaids, his company, Masters FX.
I know him.
He's amazing. We love him, but he was telling us a story that was so funny. They got lunch delivered one day, and I guess they just left like a cadaver out and about in the back, like laying in the corner, and the delivery man called the police. So now he's on a list of like people that it's okay to find like corpses at. I was like, now you can kill people. Now they think that it's
Yeah.
You're clear.
No, because Zane makes a lot of stuff for me.
Oh, awesome.
I was wondering, I was gonna ask you if you do that in-house, do you bring like your own prosthetics people, or is that something?
I have a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Like things like Zane made a body for me for another movie. He made some bald caps for me for some things. Todd Masters is really who's shop.
Masters FX, yeah. Mhm.
I know Todd has got his place in Vancouver. I just did Tron in Vancouver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
That's great you use them. I didn't know how Toronto-based it was. Like, I don't know how big the prosthetics community is, so it's great that you use.
Well, Todd Masters is an LA guy who went to Vancouver when
okay.
Yeah, but it's more, I would say it's 50-50 between the two. For Presumed Innocent, I have some stuff made at a Y Incision, Vincent Van Dyke in LA, and then Camp in LA, and then Lube Larson, who's really my partner in crime for a lot of movies like Dune. He made some stuff, Renata, for me, partially because she's Norwegian. He knew exactly who she was and her sizing, and so that Y Incision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But he builds a lot of stuff for me.
Did you help build Bill's head?
So now Bill's head. So the great thing with that was that's very traditional, old school. That's kind of based on, I'm sure Greg will talk about it. When Greg asked for it, I was a little bit triggered because one, I didn't think we had the budget. Two, that's from the old days of like 80s David Cronenberg movies up in Canada.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When I heard about it, I sort of brought that up and I was shocked because I thought, wow, they're really going for this. But they wanted to just do the head and not the body for cost because it was expensive. And only person in town in LA who really knows how to do that anymore, between Vincent Van Dyke would be an old colleague of mine, Jason Collins from Autonomous Effects, who's worked with me before many times way back. And so I called him, I said, Jason, how about this? It's like Scanners, with spoilers, stuff blowing up, and everybody loves that. So cool, but that's not done anymore. It's so practical.
Yeah.
But I love that Greg is that type of director. He wanted practical, but I did have to remind everybody in the meeting, guys, that was done where Dick Smith went up and showed them in Canada how to do that. And then from there, Stefan Dupuy and all these great artists learned. Cronenberg movies back in the day were really graphic makeups. They don't do those. It's all digital. But it's so graphic, and you've got I call it pumpkin. So Jake, exactly what I was talking about. But that's expensive. That was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we did it. We couldn't do the full body because that would have got us into 100,000.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that much. Yeah. Wow.
I've been meaning to ask Dane how much a body is. And it's been a question that was on my mind ever since we interviewed him.
Well, if you look at a head and a face, the actual time, when Greg asked for it and I said, let me get back to you and see who's available. It's not like you can do it in a day or a week.
No.
Right.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's like, to knit a sweater.
Yeah.
You find someone actually knows how to knit that's not 100.
Yeah.
Just to make a knit a sweater or a baby blanket takes 3 weeks, a month.
Yeah.
you've got to punch the hair in,
Wow.
Yeah.
right?
Right. I've seen his his videos that are time lapse, and it's incredible the amount of work that goes into every detail.
Yeah, eyebrows, nose hair, everything.
Oh my god.
You got to do the teeth and the eye. Anyway, it's like 4 weeks minimum to turn it around. It's a lot of people. So you're into a lot.
Mhm.
But anyway, it was great. Did a great job. Greg loved it. Everybody was happy. I offered the second head back to Bill to keep, and he didn't want it. He said it was too creepy. It's sitting here, actually. It's in the corner.
Oh my God,
Um,
you have it? That's amazing. That's amazing.
Like I still have one of the heads from Dune is here from the Baron.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
So cool.
Freaks people out. And so I get to the point where I go, well, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But I was thinking like of Renata. Yeah, there's a bunch of her, but I don't know what we do with it. Like we can't, nobody will release any photos.
Yeah.
Right.
So did you build her head and body as well?
We never did a double body on her. That's all makeup. Everything on her,
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, wow.
that's all practical. Yes, it is.
Wow.
Huh.
And what was the process like with that? How long did that take you?
Well, you know what was really great about it? I mean, she's so remarkable and fun. I mean, I
Yeah.
have pictures I'll never be allowed to show, but I mean, we posted a few fun ones. There was one where I said to Ching, who works with me, I said, Ching, I think she's in her knickers. I think we have to like not have that. But she's absolutely in a little tank top and a little pair of knickers. And I said, are you okay? She's like, I don't care. She's wonderful, but she's that girl. She's a remarkable actress.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
But you can't just go putting stuff like that out there because some people take
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's some creepy people.
Right.
Mhm.
The fact
Yeah.
there's a great art and skill to doing this work, and I would love,
Exactly. To not be able to show that is.
and you want to be able to show people, and there's a great beauty and art to doing what we do. And there was a day we were doing this, so it would be just, for example, like Renata coming in plus her double, because you have a double, that whole sequence where you see the hit. So in a couple of episodes, one that Greg directs, one that Anne directs. So one, again, interpretations. Who did it? Who done it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So did this happen? Did she get hit?
Yeah.
Does she fall on her face? Does she fall on her head? And what I did in the makeup, obviously, I always have to have, it's two of us to do the makeup application. There's airbrushing. So I'm not an airbrusher, never have been. We have ventilation issues. So I had Abby Clausen come on. We had different daily people come on. Abby's great. I really had to specify I need some all female makeup artists come on.
Mhm.
But I've been on other jobs where it was not an issue. These days, you have
Yeah.
to check gender-wise how people feel.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference who's there? And then you have intimacy people who I understand why we have to have them, but sometimes it creates another dimension. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Renata was very comfortable with me there. I think for certain things, obviously, but for what we were doing, I mean, everybody has always been very comfortable in our world. We've
Yeah.
always been most respectful and delicate. And I would always ask an actor, are you comfortable with me doing this, or would you prefer someone else?
Right.
And it doesn't matter if it's male or female, whether you're sexually diverse, LGBTQ plus, it doesn't matter, because you do not know whomever you're working with. It's like asking somebody, would you prefer a male or a female working on you? It's all different. So
Yeah.
it's how the actor might feel. Jake certainly is more comfortable with me handing him a robe than he is with anybody in costume. Doesn't matter who or what they are, with makeup or hair, doesn't matter. He knows me
Right.
for many, many years.
Yes.
It wouldn't matter. Ruth knows me. Renata, they are comfortable with me. But if I went on a job and I've never met the actor before, they don't know,
Right.
won't want me.
Yeah.
It's totally different. Yeah.
But when you're making people up and you're doing their bodies, you always have a second and third person there anyway. But it was fun. I mean, we laughed. Renata's hysterical, and we would be telling jokes and talking.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this business. There's a lot I don't love, and there are times I really wish I were leaving the business. But there are times when I go, this is why I'm in it, almost 40 years in. But there are many moments I go, it's time to go. Ruth, the same thing. You can be doing stuff on her, whatever, on her legs or whatever, and we'll laugh about something. But Renata, we could do all that makeup and her standing there covered in blood.
Yeah.
And let's take our picture together. There's one that's so funny. One day I'll post it with the three of us. Ruth jumps into the picture, and what do they call that?
Photobombing, yeah.
Yeah, photobombing. It's so funny. Yeah, and other people react very badly. I had an incident I do a lot of work for the Academy and for BAFTA. I went into a school shortly after we wrapped, and I took some of the supplies. I always give my stuff away. I don't keep.
Oh, that's so nice.
I give everything away to either starting people, interns, people starting a career. So I went into a school here in LA, and I don't know, they're maybe 17, 16 getting ready, and they're studying film production and TV production. And a kid volunteered. I said, okay, well, they want you to talk about a movie. And we talked. They said, oh, you worked on The Fighter. We love it. Or 8 Mile. We love it. And I said, well, Presumed Innocent, can't talk a lot about it, but, we did Beat Up, Makeup, and Dead, things. And they want it. And the kids love all that, right?
Yeah.
So I showed them research from my books of autopsies and how you do it. And I said, so does anybody want to volunteer? Well, it's always a boy of 17, occasionally a girl. Puts his hand up. And so the principal's in the classroom, the teacher, another person who does like an editor from BAFTA, and we're all in there. And I get all my stuff out, blood, and I'm doing a little demo. And the kids are really eager and they're excited. And then I go, there's no mirror, of course, and I'm doing some beat up, and I put some cotton, up in his cheeks so his face looks swollen. So you remember Bunny character?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was great fun too. She was funny. Right?
Yeah. Everyone's funny, it seems.
We were I'll get in so much trouble for this, but even about like the tying up and stuff, we were just going on saying, oh, you can always tell, who the person who knows how to do that, what kind of person.
Yeah.
I was putting cotton up. We use some Marlon Brando used in The Godfather.
Yeah.
So we took some cotton, put it up. And he's sitting there, and then I did all the blood, very similar to what Renata's got or Bunny and all the blood.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, oh, do you want to have a look? So it's a classroom. We didn't have, and there's a camera for education. So they're recording. And then I showed him a mirror. And as I showed it to him, the kid starts doing this thing where and I'm like, are you diabetic or epileptic? And he just starts to spasm.
Oh, no.
And I've done some first aid, and I had to grab his tongue.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God, and I called the principal. I said, call the nurse. Is there a school nurse? Call 911. And I said to him, have you eaten today? Are you okay? And he does like this. And I go, what the? Well, you know what I said in front of all these kids. And I went, call somebody like 911. So they do. The nurse comes. He's out. She gets him. He comes too.
Wow.
I went, oh my God, has he epileptic? She goes, no, we'll call the parents. They call the mother. You know why he passed out? He's not diabetic. He doesn't have epilepsy. The mother said it was the sight of blood.
Oh,
No.
Oh, God.
my God.
I'm talking complete.
That degree?
I had to take his tongue and move it out of his mouth.
Amazing reflexes on your part. Terrifying all around.
Jeez.
Wow.
But also believable job.
Yes.
He really thought that was blood and reacted as if it was real life.
Well, it's very frightening. So I think having told you this long story, then you think I will never really show people a lot of those pictures again.
Mm.
Now you see. Yeah.
Because that is the reaction they have.
Yeah.
Right.
They see, those pictures. So I think it's a good lesson learned, isn't it? About
Yeah.
Yeah.
that.
But it's still so much of your work. That's so frustrating.
Yeah. And it's amazing. Incredible.
Not to be able to show it. And it's so impressive
Incredible job.
Thank you.
to be able to make it look so realistic like that. How did you learn? When did you first learn? Did you go to school for makeup or?
No, because to be honest with you, we didn't really have that. I mean, back in the day, there really wasn't such a thing. There were many ways to learn. It's kind of like, it's not like acting. There's always been acting schools because there was drama school, there was theater school. Hairdressing was different because in hair, people went to barber school or hairdressing.
Yeah.
People don't come into the film business as hairdressers. They came in from the salon business.
Mm.
Makeup was particular to the film industry. So when I was young, there was no such thing. You either were going to be like an esthetician, which is not what I do.
Mm.
I think very misunderstood. So when I was a kid wanting to do costume or makeup, people didn't know what to do with me. They were like, what the hell does this kid want to do? Makeup. Because all the great makeup artists in Hollywood or London were all men.
Mm.
I mean, I knew it existed and could do it,
Yeah.
but there's great sexism and homophobia attached to it. especially coming from where I came from and not anybody connected to show business, right?
Mhm.
Because in Europe, all the makeup artists on the great films were all men. So I saw their name.
Right. They're there.
But when I said it to people, oh, what kind of man is doing makeup? That's how it was perceived. And I come from Montreal, which I thought was very international, but it's not really. It's very provincial. And then I went to England, as my parents come from the UK, but the BBC wouldn't train a boy, you know. They wouldn't
Wow.
No, really?
not train a boy. No, they would not train a boy. Well, that was in the 80s. They wouldn't train a boy until the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. So what does that tell you?
You're kidding.
No, so the men in England in the UK that did makeup were only in feature films. So they came through like training, like they did in Hollywood, like the West Max Factor, the famous guys. So for me, I was more academic. I did art history and that kind of thing. So I learned theater, and that's kind of how I started. But I didn't have a formal training in makeup, which most makeup artists don't. Now it's different. They
Right.
go to courses.
What? Even now, I was surprised when we were talking to Zane, and he, I think, if I recall correctly, said he went to like a 6-week school and basically learned everything on the job. And like what they do is amazing. So I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing with makeup effects, because he's more in pure prosthetics,
Right.
the thing with what they do, and I started actually more in that, the truth be told, the thing what they do is if you're building, that is more fine arts and plastic art,
Mhm.
sculpting, which I did, mold making, plastic arts, print making. If you know how to do that, sculpting, because I did some painting, fine arts at school, I did creative arts actually right after high school, then you have the aptitude, because I can do color, I could paint a little bit, I could do some sculpture.
Mhm.
That's when you know, I know how to do this. But a lot of the great makeup artists, Michelle Burke, people like that, they can paint, they know color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people who did makeup, the women, the lovely women I first met, all had done things like Edith Saray, learning how to do beauty, like bridal makeups.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that. I did makeups for like a jazz singer in a bar because I was working in a restaurant. That's how I got my break. I worked with a great actress called Leslie Hope, who's now a director. And we worked in a cafe, and I started getting asked to do these performers, many of them women of color. So I was doing people of color when I was 18. I was doing their makeups and getting paid, $50 here, $100 there. When I did Anna Green Gables, because I had done art history at school, I knew from the paintings, I knew what the makeup was. Makeup artists who trained properly, their makeups were heavy. So when I did my makeup test, back in the day, we used to do tests. When I went to do the test, the director, not the director, the rep, the union rep at the time, saw my portfolio with this actress called Leslie Hope. She had been cast to go to Hollywood for John Cassavetes, so famous.
Yeah.
At the time, married Jennifer Rollins. And he said to me, "Did you do that?" And I said, "Yeah, I did the makeup." And I made her dress. I really did. I made the dress. I put her hair up.
Wow.
And he said, "You did that?" He goes, "That's very natural makeup." And it was for the day, for 1984. No, earlier, 82, because I finished high school in 81. And he went, "Wow." And he goes, "Well, Shauna Jabor, I don't know where she is. I hope she's alive. She was designing the makeup for Anna Green Gables." He said, "Shauna Jabor is doing a co-production, the CBC and Disney, of Anna Green Gables. She's going to like your work." And I met her, and she said, "Do you know paintings by Gainsborough?" I went, "Uh-huh." "Do you know Turner?" I went, "Uh-huh." She was like, "Give me some other examples." And I told her, and I said, "I know the film The Merchant Ivory." And she's like, "You're my kind of guy." And I knew exactly what she meant. So when I went to, she said, "I'm testing makeup artists to do my background." And I went and I took like 5 products. She said, "What are you going to put on the girls in the classroom?" And I told her this, 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 and this. And I did it. And she hired me. And then the next movie, I got promoted to the assistant department head.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's an amazing coming up story. Wow.
Do you remember those 5 products that you used?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a makeup product from Canada, which I guess was the precursor to MAC, but it was called Electa and Corrado. And I remember the color was ivory because, of course, they were little young girls from Prince Edward Island.
Yeah.
They were white.
Yeah.
They were as white as a nun's thigh.
Yeah.
Like me?
Yeah. I was going to say that.
Yes.
I'm embarrassing. They were like every Merchant Ivory film. And then the next film, the girls are a bit older, you know, her best friend, Diana Barry, used that Chanel like white veil or something. And then Dame Wendy Hiller came, and then all these, and then we differentiated between like working class people, the farmer types, and then the kind of lady.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And so I knew what to do. But then I got recommended for The Fly by Shauna,
Wow.
and that's what launched me.
Amazing.
Wow. That's a fascinating story.
That is very fascinating. You seem to be very popular too with like the actors that you work with. They obviously love you because obviously your work, was it 20 years that you worked with Mark Wahlberg? And then I see that you're always coming back like with Daniel Craig, with Jake. Like there's so many projects you've done with them. So they obviously love you.
I get on with a lot of people. I didn't want to do that. It wasn't part. No offense to any of them, because I love them all dearly. I never really wanted that career. It kept happening. It's like it's a high class, it's a high class problem. And also the reason I ended up working with so many men was they needed you more. The girls are self-sufficient. The girls are great. The girls are easy and way easier. So much easier. They know what they want. They know what they like. The time they can do it themselves. Here's the thing, and I don't care. People can get as angry as they want. I'm too old for that. Be angry, whatever. I worked too hard to not be able to say. It was just, the thing is with the women, with actresses, it's usually about their hair, right? 9 times out of 10, it's about their hair. Not always, but often.
Right.
It's hair, their clothes, then the makeup. With the men, it's about the makeup.
Yeah.
Because usually the men's hair, what's it going to be? This or
very slight variations of the same thing.
Yeah.
Same with clothes.
Men don't change. My hair's been the same since I was 4.
It looks really nice.
Well, thank you. But it's the same. It's literally the same since I was 4. And I still don't color it. I really don't. It's the same. There's some gray coming in.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You look so young, by the way. When you said you graduated high school in 1981, no, that math doesn't work out. But, oh my God.
I'm 61 this year.
You look amazing.
And I don't color my hair. I'd be the first to admit it. But with the ladies, they change their hair all the time. And they don't change their makeup. And so there was that. But also with the men. So Daniel Craig, Mark. I mean, Mark was wonderful. We had great times. And I owe a lot of my career to him. A lot. But the films were not always what I wanted. But that's okay. It was about him. You're trying to help them. Being a designer and HOD, I wanted to kind of do more.
Yeah.
And I think you get to run the department, to get to work with people like Ruth or Renata. I wouldn't have that if I were just being a personal.
Yeah.
Right.
Jake's been a wonderful friend to me over the years, but he respects that about me. He knows I want to do. Had I done The Last Bond, I wouldn't have been able to do Dune, which was better for me. I'm sorry in a way, because I love Daniel way more than Dune.
Right.
As a person, he's a better person than that movie is.
Yeah. That's well said and true. But I mean, what an amazing experience that must have been.
It was a choice, and you have to make. Presumed Innocent was, I'm so glad I did it, because I really had a good time. I had a great group of people. I made new friends. It was great for me. So you make choices sometimes.
Yeah.
I say in a weird way, it's a career choice. No, it's great for some people. A lot of makeup artists go, oh my God, good. It's maybe good for you. But for me, I didn't want my career to be at the personal beck and call of being that person, because you lose it's also harder. I've got to tell you that it's harder in a way. Ryan Gosling, all these people were wonderful people to work with, but you do become an extension of them. People are very nice to you not because of you. And I love volunteering. I love working with other people. I love creating, and you're not getting to do that in that environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to focus on your own enjoyment and growth.
You know what? It's one round, one life, and
Exactly.
we've had a big strike. We had a big change. There's a few more things I'd like to do, directors I'd like to work with, a few more actors out there. But, also actors, when you're a personal, can decide just like that. I'd like to take a year off, 2 years off.
Yeah.
Have a baby, go get married, do this, do that. And you kind of are the last one to find out. And I hear that from friends of mine and go, that's really horrible. I'm sorry to hear that. And I think people, no matter what you're doing in life, I think it's like, I don't know, if you're a nurse or, I don't know, a doctor or a lawyer, don't you think in any job you hear people say that you have to move on?
Yeah.
I'm still friendly with Mark Wahlberg and Daniel Craig and Jake Gyllenhaal. Well, Jake I still stay in touch with, and Ruth and all kinds of people I've worked with over the years. I like to think of Eminem, I'm still in touch with.
Mhm.
I loved working with him so much. I wished he had made more movies. He was just terrified after 8.
Yeah.
I loved working with Emily Blunt. I would have killed to work with her again, but she called me. I wasn't available. So tough luck, you know.
What are you gonna do? Too many people love you. Like it's just
Yeah.
not gonna work out every single time.
You know what? It's not about that. It's that you do your job the best you can do, and you have a moment where you have 5 or 10 years that you're at the top in your field, and then you got to pass it on to the next round. And I feel like I'm in the last years, and I had a great run, and I want to do what I'd like to do now for a few years.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Speaking of, can you tell us anything about the production you're starting in a couple of days?
Oh, yeah, so I'm starting. Well, I just finished Tron Area.
Cool.
So cool and exciting. We wrapped about a month ago in Vancouver with an amazing cast. So I think I have a pickup shot of that. That's Jared Leto and Jodie Turner-Smith and Greta Lee and Evan Peters.
Oh, I love Greta Lee.
Wonderful. And Jared was great. And I love that it's, I don't want to say older cast, but I think more age appropriate, that it's also a cast that I think people are interested to see, people that are, you know, not 20,
Yeah. Hmm.
25, but 40, 45.
Well, Jared's like 100 now, isn't he? But he still looks about 20 years
He
old.
doesn't look it,
20
yeah.
years old.
Yeah, and he looks amazing, and he's lovely. And Jodie Turner-Smith, who's gorgeous, and like Grace Jones, right? And she's,
Yes.
you know, not a child either. I kind of love it. So and a great director. And I'm starting a thing called, for television again, called Man on Fire.
Is that a remake of the movie with Denzel? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing. I love that movie.
This is Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
Oh, he was in Handmaids. We love him.
That's right. So Yahya Abdul-Mateen and a young girl I'm actually going to meet with today in a few minutes from the UK called Billy Boulay.
Billy Boulay.
Yeah, who was in the Anne Frank recently.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it sounds familiar to me for some reason.
Maybe 19 or 20, and really lovely. So we're starting that, I think, prepping next week and shooting in August
In LA?
in Mexico City.
Oh,
Oh,
awesome.
Mexico City.
LA, I'm afraid, I'm sad to say, is really nothing's going on. It's
Mm,
really,
That's sad.
I think we've had our day for a minute. I think Presumed Innocent was so great that we were here in LA shooting for Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, which was really nice, actually, to be in LA for a change.
I'm sure it was great to go back to your own home for once after work.
Yeah, it was nice. Drive to work, 20 minutes away at that set.
Yeah.
Presumed Innocent set was kind of great.
Before you go, I have to ask, what are some of your favorite products that you use on the set? Favorite brands even? Need some intel.
Oh, well, for Ruth, because I love making her up. Ruth, like Armani makeup, I love a lot. I think it's really beautiful.
I actually just bought the Luminous Silk foundation and I love it.
That's, I think, I think it photographs brilliantly. From Japan, I love a product called Sukwa or Sukyu.
Oh.
But Sukwa, the colors are vibrant and it's very clean. I love Dior. I like some of the older things, classic, because I worry about people's skin. So I have to know nothing will happen. Like La Roche-Posay,
Mhm.
Dior, for instance. Armani, nothing will happen with that makeup on your skin. Nothing.
Yeah.
Sukwa, nothing will happen. Hermes, the lipstick's beautiful, expensive. Nothing will happen.
Yeah.
Clinique products, I still like them. Nothing will happen. There's I'm a little worried. You know, certain things worry me. They're too new. I'm like, I don't know. Somebody will say it irritates me.
Yeah.
And you have to think about that because not everybody is the same. And so if you recommend something, and then I have specialty products for, like, obviously blood and specialty makeup.
Yes.
But in just beauty, skincare, I like QMS, I like Monoskin, I like a lot of things, but I like a lot of the German products on skin because we have our friend there in Germany, but I like it because I think it's very sensible and it's clean. It's not fussy. I don't like all that fussy skincare, but I think it's very clean. La Roche-Posay, I think it's a great product.
Yeah.
And it's kind of affordable in pharmacies.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cicaplast is a staple.
Yeah, I think Lancome do really nice things as well. And Gucci, the mascara, I think is amazing. And some Tom Ford. The high end, the thing with the high end products, if there's a problem, you can bring it back. They will not question you. They will not question you if you bring it back and say it just didn't work. But that Armani liquid foundation, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Yves Saint Laurent, excellent.
Yes. I just have to I need to save up some more money to buy some of those brands.
Well, but you know what? You don't need a lot when you're young. And also, you invest in something that's a product that's a very good quality.
Yeah.
You don't need, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Drugstore brands, by the way, all the actresses always like the drugstore, like the Maybellines, they all do.
Yeah.
Really?
By the way, my friends that make nude sticks in Canada,
Oh yeah.
it's a good product. And I give them a lot of love because they support women and young women who are doing great things. So, for instance, because they used to work for Mac, and then she was one of the original chemists for Mac, but her daughter is the creator of the product, but it's really empowerment for women, and it's younger women, like 16 to 25. And it's a good product. It's actually quite a good product. And it's very girl positive, I want to say.
I have one of their blushes.
You like it?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really easy to blend.
Yeah. So I think those are companies that, what am I trying to say? It's like I have a lot of friends who want to use products that are made by people of color that own the company.
Right.
And I'm all for that. So for instance, like Armani win all the prizes like Lancome for people of color, then I'm like, it's great. So then people should also practice what they preach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel if I need something like for young people and I call somebody, Nude Sticks deliver.
All right. That's good to know.
And NARS are good as well. But Nude Sticks, if you say, hey, I'm doing something for foster girls in LA coming out of the system, can you send me a bunch of products for girls that are, I don't know, 20 and they're mixed women of color coming out, they'll send me stuff,
Oh, that's great.
which a lot of other companies won't unless you say a movie star's name.
Well,
Really? Well, that's amazing.
they've got my money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a tween that's like starting to get into makeup, so taking notes on that.
I don't believe you have it. I don't. You look so young.
I do. She's making a lot of noise outside in the pool. I'm on vacation and there's like 20 people in this house, and I'm hoping you couldn't hear them pounding around upstairs. But thank you.
I don't hear anybody.
Okay, thanks. I also just really quick before you go, I wanted to mention that you do the outreach program in LA, right? The mentorship.
Yeah.
You teach other kids. I just think that's really incredible,
Thank you.
given that you came up in a situation where, you didn't have that,
Yeah.
to still be giving back. That's really cool.
Yeah, I do a few things here and in the UK. I work a thing for BAFTA called, it's BAFTA Connect. It used to be BAFTA Crew. So it's just we get younger members to join. And so we have a couple programs. In LA, it's more for people who don't get as many opportunities. I certainly would not say that was my case, but I mean, people who are young filmmakers. I like to work with writers, directors, actors, makeup, people who just want to work with experienced people.
Right. That's how you learn. Yeah.
Yeah, you learn. And because you can't get that, not everybody can go to film school and not everybody has that money. And I think I love doing that. I think it's important. More people should do it. So I enjoy it and try to do it when I can.
Yeah. I just think it's incredible.
Surprised you have any time. You must be fully booked.
Yeah, exactly. Like you make time for that.
You make time. Well, my friend, the late, great Shirley Douglas always said, if you want somebody to do something, call the busiest person.
That's a true story. Yeah. I get more done when I'm busy too. I pack more in. Pretty coal that she's your friend.
If you need something, call a busy person. They'll do it.
That's so true. What a great quote. I've never thought of it that way, and it's so accurate.
Yeah, they're more accustomed.
Yeah.
The busy people will always, they rise to the occasion because it's their MO.
Nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. I like that quote. Well, we'll let you go. You have to go meet with your next star.
Yes, it was great to meet everybody.
Oh, this was so fascinating.
Oh yeah.
So nice to meet you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're so amazing, like just incredible, like lovely,
Yeah.
so great to talk to. It's amazing.
You must make sets a very happy place. So on top of a very pretty place.
Well, you know what? You try. It's very hard when, you just look, it's a job if you love it. But you like what you're doing. If you like what you do, it comes across and it's, I think but there's also some people out there that are not joyful people and they can bring that down. And I've had that unfortunate situation, even in my own group and my own team.
Yeah.
People don't like to see that joy or that happiness. I still love the work, but if there's one or two people out there that are not happy,
Yeah.
Can ruin it.
They will try to bring everybody down.
Yeah.
I've learned that late in life.
Yeah.
I wished I'd taken steps a bit differently, but you just have to be true to yourself and do your thing. And I'm a very blunt person. It gets me in trouble, but I am not sucking up to anybody. I got to live
I prefer that. You do you.
to myself, but I'm in the wrong town for that, you know? But anyway, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
When are you off to Mexico City? Is it?
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday you are off to. Cool. Well, we hope you have an amazing time. Are you going to post on Instagram? I hope to see your travels.
Yeah, we'll do a little bit where I'm allowed or where they let us. I'm careful with that.
Yeah.
But we'll stay in touch.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Have a good one.
Bye. Thank you so much.